So, a thing happened, which is that as I tried to do a wash and go on my long, thick, transitioning hair, it just was too much, and I just had to cut it. This was not the plan. I did have a plan to big chop that day, but I was supposed to finish the wash and go. Unfortunately, it became way too much for me. My hair was getting tangled, and I just didn't have the energy. My spirit was just not in it. So I had to do it. And so this is the aftermath of me chopping off a section to preserve the hair, and then going in and clipping each little clump one by one. Now, I was using gel because I wanted to be consistent, but it was maybe in retrospect not the best idea. I maybe should have just used conditioner. That would have made the line of demarcation a bit more obvious, but I was just kind of guessing. I didn't want to, make it uneven or anything. So, yeah.
Oh, you still there? Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's taking forever.
Unfortunately, you don't get to hear my thoughts as I was cutting off these ends. I wasn't really thinking much. I was just like, I want this to be over because it was taking so long. It was so laborious and just, but it felt good. It definitely felt good to chop off those ends and just see my hair start to curl up and start to become like itself again. I was ready a long time before this happened. I just wanted to make some videos beforehand, and this was just the last straw for me. So yeah, I'm not, having any regrets or anything. I'm very focused, but also very happy with my decision. That one section was just so frizzy and I had no clue where to chop. Cause you know how you think that it's the right place and then it shrinks up and you actually realize that you cut too much. But I mean, it wasn't that serious. So here we are, a few days later. This happened because I was like, Mom, can you cut the back? And she was like, sure. And it was way too short, but it's fine. So I actually, for this section, since the hair was not short enough or was not long enough to fit into a braid, I actually just pulled it on top of the braid and stretched it with bands so that it would kind of lengthen out a little bit. So there is that hair. And now I'm taking off the rubber band because I used a rubber band. So this braid out happened after I did a co-wash. I felt that my hair was in need of some moisture, so I hopped in the shower after detangling and pre-pooing with coconut oil. I had about 7 sections and I just, put some elastics on them, wrapped it around 3 times, which is like taut but not tight. And I went in section by section, put Aussie Moist in there, detangled with a wide tooth comb, and it was so nice. It was glorious to be able to detangle in the shower again. I mean, I guess for the first time. I've done it before, but it was a hot mess having relaxed ends. But this was great. It was so nice to detangle. I had minimal hairs. There was like maybe 3 hairs for my entire head after, detangling out of the shower. So yeah. Once I got out of the shower, so when I was in the shower, once I finished detangling and conditioning a section, I would just braid it up while it was wet and move on to the next section. Then once I got out of the shower, I split each section into 2, squeezed out the water if necessary, and I did a grease braid out. Basically, the only product I used was grease. I put grease on my hair, put a little bit on my scalp, and I braided each section. So I had 14 braids. And I did eat dinner. So when I came back to the top, I had to spray the section to make sure it was thoroughly wet. And now I realize that it still was not as wet as it could have been, because the top of my hair is currently a lot frizzier and more undefined than the bottom of my hair. The bottom of my hair is still really defined and coily, and it's all still moisturized several days later, but yeah. So I need a lot more water than I think. But this braid out is coming along. My hair looks so healthy. So again, I'm adding the wild growth hair oil, taking out the rubber bands, and braiding, separating just a little bit, making sure the oil is distributed. Yeah. So after I braided each section and I had my 14 little braids, I left that in overnight and the next day. So this is 2 days later, me taking this out. I wanted to make sure that it was totally dry. And it was. Okay, so this is how I look after taking out the braids. Sorry you can't see the top of my head, but... And I don't have a pick, so if you guys have any suggestions, please leave them down in the comments. So I'm just using this wide tooth comb to try to pick out my hair. It's doing something, but it's not great. So I really, really need a pick. I also probably just need to work on my technique, because watching this footage back, I realized that I'm just picking out each individual clump instead of trying to blend the parts, even though there weren't any like super hard parts. So this is the next day. This is, I think, yesterday. This is what my hair looks like. It's pretty much a fro, but you can see that there's some defined pieces in the back of my head, on the sides, because when I sleep at night, you know, I don't sleep like the pieces next to my ear don't get really smushed, but the top does, so that's why it looks more frizzy and stuff. So, you know, I'll just have to learn to put more water on the top of my head to make sure it's as wet as the bottom of my hair is. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.